Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we are coming at you from the Alibates Flint Quarry that is on Lake Meredith National Recreation Area, and that is about, 20-30 miles north of Amarillo. Maybe a little more than that.
And the quarries are a national monument.
Yes, this whole thing is a national recreation area, and it is a national monument for the quarry. And there is camping up here, and we're going to do a separate video about the camping around Lake Meredith National Recreation Area. But this one we're going to focus on the quarry.
Yes.
You can actually go out and take a tour of this quarry, these quarries. There are nearly 1,000 of these quarries that have been documented in this region. And it was fascinating, but you do need a reservation for the guided tours. The road's locked. You cannot go up there and explore on your own. You have a ranger guided tour. And when we looked online, we went April 7th, which was this morning. Online, it actually said that they weren't going to be having the tours because of staffing shortages. When we called, they said, yeah, we can do one. And so we had some cousins up here. There were going to be 4 of us. 2 other people joined in. And so you want to be sure that you call and make a reservation for the tour, because you may get there and the tour is full, or nobody had made a reservation so they don't have the staff on hand. That's an important thing. It's free, but you need to make sure that you have the reservation. And Mylena got that for us.
And if you have mobility issues, out of the 4,600 steps, approximately 4,000 of them really are steps. There are a lot of steps.
But
so you need to know that.
Yeah, there really are a lot of steps, because you're climbing up onto a mesa.
Yes.
And then that's where the quarries are. There are like 3 little pavilion things as you're going, where there are benches. They stop and they explain to you what you're going to be seeing, etc. And what was really cool was on the way up, we're just all happy-go-lucky, not paying that much attention. But then on the way down, you start noticing, oh, there's some flint. There's some flint. Now, we're just going to be showing you some random video over this because it was so cool. But the flint has been found as far away as Chile, up into Canada.
Yes.
That this is the only place that this flint was quarried.
Yes.
And they said, no, not one person took that, but it went around trade routes, and they would buy some of the flint from here, trade for the flint around here. And then as those people traveled, they traded with people that were traveling further. They have found some, they found shells, etc., from both the Gulf Coast and the Pacific Coast.
Yes.
So they know that they were traded for the flint from here, because the flint from here is so strong. And he said what we were walking on was essentially their discards. And that was the really cool thing, is we're walking along, and then all of a sudden we're just walking on flint. I mean, the flint, some of the things it was used for.
Yes, it was used for weapons, for one thing. It could be sort of rubbed down. There was a specific flint instrument that they used to sharpen spearheads. It was used for digging.
They used some for digging. They used some for, like they had drill bits that they used some for. They had some knives that they made out of the flint. They also had some tools for scraping, like animal furs, if they were going to use just the hide. And it was...
And arrowheads.
Yeah, lots of arrowheads. And when you finish, there is a place where you can go over and pick up a small piece of flint to bring home. It is not from the quarries that are here.
No.
Those are protected. The ranger did pick some up and let us handle it and let us see it. but those were the only pieces that anyone got to touch while we were on the tour. But back here, the Flint here, there are privately owned ranches, etc., where some flint has been quarried, and people have made whatever they're making out of it. And these are just their little discards that they bring out so that kids of all ages can pick up one little piece and have a souvenir.
Yes.
And we actually had visited some friends in Amarillo, and the 10-year-old is one that put us onto that. And so we were thankful to know that. But it's beautiful and amazing how many different colors there are.
Yes, both the Flint and the surrounding area. There is a lot of red rock, red sand surrounding the area. The Flint quarries were dug down a bit, and they have they weren't that big, but they were like maybe 10 feet across, and they would dip down some because that's where the flint was found.
But they filled in some over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, just...
And they wouldn't want it if it had
quartz in it, because it was going to be too soft. It was very interesting, and getting...
Ranger Dave answered any question David?
I believe so, yeah.
Ranger David answered any questions we had. He was an excellent ranger guide.
But just seeing it looks like polished rock straight from the ground, basically. I mean, there's dirt on it or whatever, but as soon as it's cracked, there are just pieces up there, like we said, that were just their discards, or then they're like some flint boulders that are just sitting there. And I believe what he said is that the pieces that they would take down would be the size of like a
water bottle,
a liter water bottle or something, and they would take that down and either make some sort of tools out of those, break those down into sellable. And the other thing is, he picked up a piece that had been used as a tool to mine this. It's sharp, folks.
Yes.
It is still sharp. And the little piece that I got from the little pile that we got to pick a piece from is small, but it is sharp. And he said that it keeps the edge much longer. And so, we've grown up in parts of Texas where arrowheads were found. Pretty commonly. And it's just kind of neat to see. I forgot how much he said, something in a really large amount, and I don't remember the exact amount, but any of the Alibates flint all came from here.
Yes.
But a large percentage of like arrowheads throughout the country came from the flint that's here.
Yes.
And so while they may not have all been made here, they were the flint that is used for them. So the tour, it's 2 miles, but from the time you leave the visitor center and you follow the ranger in your vehicle. He gets out, opens a gate, and then lets the cars through. Then he locks the gate back, and then you drive on up maybe another quarter mile or so before you get to the trailhead.
Yes.
And start hiking up to the top of the mesa. And the total from the time you leave the visitor center until the time you get back to the visitor center is just about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just so interesting. And we had stayed here once before.
Yes.
But that was at the end of a trip, and we just didn't feel like getting out and doing anything then. But I am so glad we went down to see this. It was really interesting. And they had, like I said, they had a map that shows 1,000. Well, I think the map actually there are yellow dots where each of the known quarries is, and it's estimated that there's well over 1,000 quarries right here. So, a very interesting way to spend a morning, and National Park Service, you're going to learn something.
And during the peak season, which should be summer, They will have an afternoon tour. I think he said it started at 1.
I thought there were 10 and 2, but I could be wrong. But folks,
in the summer, you don't want that one.
We were talking today, it was April. It was in the 50s when we started out on this tour, and it was comfortable. We were the wind was blowing. It was a bit chilly at times, but yeah, I would suggest if you're going in the summer, be sure and carry lots of water, because you're going to need it. But
I think we each had
we each drank
bottles and
each drank a bottle. So anyway, a fun way to spend a day, and the visitor center, there's information there and gifts, etc. And so it's a neat area, and hopefully you'll be able to make it out here yourselves. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.